So this is the school management software, and this is how to easily manage the finance department, accounting, and basically to know what the school is doing in terms of expenses, the revenue, and everything. So you can just click on expenses here, or let's start by looking at the revenue tab. You can be able to see the payment and fees. These are the payments made so far across the term. So this is the fee structure, and this is basically what is set for them to pay. So you can just check various tabs to know what the parent paid in terms of parent subscription or any other fees that was made, that they made payment. So the next thing we want to look at now is, okay, how much was paid, this total amount generated, this is the amount pending. Now we want to go straight into the accounting tab. Well, let's look at the expenses tab first. In the expenses, we can be able to look at what are the main expenses and create expenses. Okay, for this time, what are the expenses that we're incurring, what are our daily expenses, and all of that. So the expenses have categories. Basically, there are different categories that are configured. You can add more categories to it if you wish. The next thing we want to look at is basically how to add expenses. So to add expenses, you just click on add expense. Then you can be able to check what are the expenses you want to add. So let's say we want to add a basic expense right now, like diesel. Then the amount that we got it for. Also want to add who maybe the category it is. Yeah, category it is very important. Next, who was paid. Want to add that. Just the name of the person that was paid. Then basically want to add other various expenses to know what we are doing as a company, as a school and organization. So we can be able to add yes, and you're able to add it and save. Now the next thing we want to do now is to look at, okay, fine, are there other expenses that we want to add? So this is how we look at it. Now the ones we've added, you can see 50,000 naira there. That's the expense for the diesel. So if the other expenses, you can easily just add them here and do a rough estimate of total expenses. So let's add another expense, maybe an annual rent, for example. Our rent is an expense. So we can be able to add the rent and check, okay, fine. This is how much we are paying per year for rent. So we start by right clicking on rent. Then under rent now, we're able to write the amount that we are actually owing, which is yearly, maybe in terms of, maybe let's just give an example, 500,000 naira. Then we had the category, which is rent. The category is rent. Then basically we can add other things that we feel is necessary. But one thing that's also important is you have to determine, is it a recurring expenses or a one-time expenses. If a recurring expenses, you have to put it under recurring and set the date for the next recurring expense, maybe next year, a particular date in next year or whatever it is. So that's important. Once you are done adding all of those things, next thing to do is to just click on add expense. So once you click on add expense, it updates and you can see the total expenses that you have. Now we can move straight into accounting to see a breakdown of the main expenses, to see a breakdown of the revenue as the fees come in. So if you click on accounting, you can see month by month how much was paid. You see, the last amount that was paid was not in this month. We've not received any fee yet this month, so that's just the breakdown.